وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وصفيك وسيدنا موسى كليمك ونجيك وسيدنا عيسى روحك وكلمتك وعلى جميع ملائكتك ورسلك وأنبيائك وخيرتك من خلقك وأصفيائك وخاصتك وأوليائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد عدد خلقه ورضاء نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته وكما هو أهله وكلما ذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون وعلى أهل بيته وعترته الطاهرين وسلم تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته وعلى جميع النبيين والمرسلين والملائكة والمقربين وجميع عباد الله الصالحين عدد ما أمطرت السماء منذ بنيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما أنبتت الأرض منذ دحوتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد النجوم في السماء فإنك أحصيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما تنفست الأرواح منذ خلقتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما خلقت وما تخلق وما أحاط به علمك وأضعاف ذلك. اللهم صل عليهم عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومبلغ علمك وآياتك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة تفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة دائمة مستمرة الدوام على مر الليالي والأيام متصلة الدوام لا انقضاء لها ولا انصرام على مر الليالي والأيام عدد كل وابل وطل. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد نبيك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وعلى جميع أنبيائك وأصفيائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومنتهى علمك وزنة جميع مخلوقاتك صلاة مكررة أبدا عدد ما أحصى علمك وملء ما أحصى علمك وأضعاف ما أحصى علمك صلاة تزيد وتفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم اجعلني ممن لزم ملة نبيك سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعظم حرمته وأعز كلمته وحفظ عهده وذمته ونصر حزبه ودعوته وكثر تابعيه وفرقته ووافى زمرته ولم يخالف سبيله وسنته. اللهم إني أسألك الاستمساك بسنته وأعوذ بك من الانحراف عما جاء به. اللهم إني أسألك من خير ما سألك منه سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك صلى الله عليه وسلم، وأعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اعصمني من شر الفتن وعافني من جميع المحن وأصلح مني ما ظهر وما بطن ونق قلبي من الحقد والحسد ولا تجعل علي تباعة لأحد. اللهم إني أسألك الأخذ بأحسن ما تعلم والترك لسيء ما تعلم، وأسألك التكفل بالرزق والزهد في الكفاف والمخرج بالبيان من كل شبهة والفلج بالصواب في كل حجة والعدل في الغضب والرضاء والتسليم لما يجري به القضاء والاقتصاد في الفقر والغنى والتواضع في القول والفعل والصدق في الجد والهزل. اللهم إن لي ذنوبا فيما بيني وبينك وذنوبا فيما بيني وبين خلقك، اللهم ما كان لك منها فاغفره وما كان منها لخلقك فتحمله عني وأولني بفضلك إنك واسع المغفرة. اللهم نور بالعلم قلبي واستعمل بطاعتك بدني وخلص من الفتن سري واشغل بالاعتبار فكري وقني شر وساوس الشيطان وأجرني منه يا رحمن حتى لا يكون له علي سلطان. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم وترحم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما ترحمت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم وتحنن على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحننت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما سلمت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وارحم سيدنا محمدا وآل سيدنا محمد وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذريته وأهل بيته كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم داحي المدحوات وبارئ المسموكات وجبار القلوب على فطرتها شقيها وسعيدها اجعل شرائف صلواتك ونوامي بركاتك ورأفة تحننك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق والمعلن الحق بالحق والدامغ لجيشات الأباطيل كما حمل فاضطلع بأمرك بطاعتك مستوفزا في مرضاتك واعيا لوحيك حافظا لعهدك ماضيا على نفاذ أمرك حتى أورى قبسا لقابس آلاء الله تصل بأهله أسبابه به هديت القلوب بعد خوضات الفتن والإثم وأبهج موضحات الأعلام ونائرات الأحكام ومنيرات الإسلام فهو أمينك المأمون وخازن علمك المخزون وشهيدك يوم الدين وبعيثك نعمة ورسولك بالحق رحمة. اللهم افسح له في عدنك واجزه مضاعفات الخير من فضلك مهنآت له غير مكدرات من فوز ثوابك المحلول وجزيل عطائك المعلول. اللهم أعل على بناء الناس بناءه وأكرم مثواه لديك ونزله وأتمم له نوره واجزه من ابتعاثك له مقبول الشهادة ومرضي المقالة ذا منطق عدل وخطة فصل وبرهان عظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. لبيك اللهم ربي وسعديك صلوات الله البر الرحيم والملائكة المقربين والنبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين. وما سبح لك من شيء يا رب العالمين على سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله خاتم النبيين وسيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين ورسول رب العالمين الشاهد البشير الداعي إليك بإذنك السراج المنير عليه السلام. اللهم اجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك على سيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك إمام الخير وقائد الخير ورسول الرحمة. اللهم ابعثه مقاما محمودا يغبطه فيه الأولون والآخرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأولاده وأزواجه وذريته وأهل بيته وأصهاره وأنصاره وأشياعه ومحبه وأمته وعلينا معهم أجمعين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد من لم يصل عليه وصل على سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا بالصلاة عليه وصل عليه كما يحب أن يصلى عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا أن نصلي عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما هو أهله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضاه له. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد صل على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد وأعط سيدنا محمدا الدرجة والوسيلة في الجنة. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد اجز سيدنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم ما هو أهله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من الصلاة شيء، وارحم سيدنا محمدا وآل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من الرحمة شيء، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من البركة شيء، وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من السلام شيء. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في النبيين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في المرسلين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أعط سيدنا محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والشرف والدرجة الكبيرة. اللهم إني آمنت بسيدنا محمد ولم أره، فلا تحرمني في الجنان رؤيته، وارزقني صحبته، وتوفني على ملته، واسقني من حوضه مشربا رويا سائغا هنيئا لا نظمأ بعده أبدا، إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم أبلغ روح سيدنا محمد مني تحية وسلاما. اللهم وكما آمنت بسيدنا محمد ولم أره، فلا تحرمني في الجنان رؤيته. اللهم تقبل شفاعة سيدنا محمد الكبرى، وارفع درجته العليا، وآته سؤله في الآخرة والأولى، كما آتيت سيدنا إبراهيم وسيدنا موسى. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد، كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد، كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك، وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وصفيك، وسيدنا موسى كليمك ونجيك، وسيدنا عيسى روحك وكلمتك، وعلى جميع ملائكتك ورسلك وأنبيائك وخيرتك من خلقك، وأصفيائك وخاصتك وأوليائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد عدد خلقه ورضاء نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته وكما هو أهله وكل ما ذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون وعلى أهل بيته وعترته الطاهرين وسلم تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته وعلى جميع النبيين والمرسلين والملائكة والمقربين وجميع عباد الله الصالحين عدد ما أمطرت السماء منذ بنيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما أنبتت الأرض منذ دحوتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد النجوم في السماء فإنك أحصيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما تنفست الأرواح منذ خلقتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما خلقت وما تخلق وما أحاط به علمك وأضعاف ذلك. اللهم صل عليهم عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومبلغ علمك وآياتك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة تفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة دائمة مستمرة الدوام على مر الليالي والأيام متصلة الدوام لا انقضاء لها ولا انصرام على مر الليالي والأيام عدد كل وابل وطل. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد نبيك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وعلى جميع أنبيائك وأصفيائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومنتهى علمك وزنة جميع مخلوقاتك صلاة مكررة أبدا عدد ما أحصى علمك وملء ما أحصى علمك وأضعاف ما أحصى علمك صلاة تزيد وتفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم اجعلني ممن لزم ملة نبيك سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعظم حرمته وأعز كلمته وحفظ عهده وذمته ونصر حزبه ودعوته وكثر تابعيه وفرقته ووافى زمرته ولم يخالف سبيله وسنته. اللهم إني أسألك الاستمساك بسنته وأعوذ بك من الانحراف عما جاء به. اللهم إني أسألك من خير ما سألك منه سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك صلى الله عليه وسلم وأعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اعصمني من شر الفتن وعافني من جميع المحن وأصلح مني ما ظهر وما بطن ونق قلبي من الحقد والحسد ولا تجعل علي تباعة لأحد. اللهم إني أسألك الأخذ بأحسن ما تعلم والترك لسيء ما تعلم وأسألك التكفل بالرزق والزهد في الكفاف والمخرج بالبيان من كل شبهة والفلج بالصواب في كل حجة والعدل في الغضب والرضاء والتسليم لما يجري به القضاء والاقتصاد في الفقر والغنى والتواضع في القول والفعل والصدق في الجد والهزل. اللهم إن لي ذنوبا فيما بيني وبينك وذنوبا فيما بيني وبين خلقك. اللهم ما كان لك منها فاغفره وما كان منها لخلقك فتحمله عني وأولني بفضلك إنك واسع المغفرة. اللهم نور بالعلم قلبي واستعمل بطاعتك بدني وخلص من الفتن سري واشغل بالاعتبار فكري وقني شر وساوس الشيطان وأجرني منه يا رحمن حتى لا يكون له علي سلطان. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. الله
Hazreti Resul-i Ekrem ve Nebi Muhammed sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem Efendimiz Hazretlerinin aziz pak münevver mutahhar ruh şeriflerine salavat-ı şerife getirenlerin ahir ve akıbetleri hayır ola. Âl-i ezvâc-ı tahirat evlâd-ı Resul ashab-ı güzin efendilerimizin Sair Enbiya Azam ve Resul-i Kiram haziratının ervah şeriflerine Pirimiz Bilal-i Habaşi radıyallahu anh efendimizin Mihmandar-ı Resul-i Kibriya Ayyub Sultan Halid bin Zeyd Ebu Ayyub Ansari radıyallahu anh Şah Murşidan Şah Hacı Muhammed Buhadi Nakşibendi el-Bukhari Mevlana Celaleddin Rumum Mevlana Ziyadin Hadil Bağdadi Sahibu Zaman Kıblatul İslam Şeyh Mevlana Muhammed Nazım Adil el-Hakani Sahibu Seyf Şeyh Abdülkerim Kıbrıs Rabbani Kaddesallahu Esrarrum Haziratın ervahı için Hadimul Harmeyn-i Şerifen Yavuz Sultan Selim Han Ebu'l-Feth Fel-Magazi Fatih Sultan Mehmed Han ve Serdar Hakan Sultan Abdülhamid Han cennet mekan Firdevs-i Aşin Hazret'in ervahını ve avni inayetine alel husus bu caminin bayinesi ve bugüne kadar içerisinden gelmiş geçmiş İmam Muazzin Kayyım cemaatinin ve kâfe ehli iman ervahı için Allah rızası için El Fatiha. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. İnnallâhe ve melâiketuhu yusallûne alen nebi. Ya eyyühellezîne âmenû sallu aleyhi ve sellimû teslîmâ. Allahümme salli ala seyyidina Muhammedin ve ala ali seyyidina Muhammed. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayya alas-salah. Hayya alas-salah. Hayya alel-felah. Hayya alel-felah. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah.
نحمد الله تعالى ونستغفر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له نشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده وحبيبه ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأزواجه وأصحابه أتباعه خلفاء الراشدين المهديين من بعده بذمة على تحقيق وزم منهم على الميت خلفاء رسول على تحقيق أمراء المؤمنين حضرات أبو بكر وعمر عثمان وعلي وعلى بقية صحابة التابعين رضوان الله عليهم أجمعين يا أيها المؤمنون الحاضرون اتقوا الله تعالى وإن الله مع الذين اتقوا الذين هم محسنون. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil Alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala eşrafil anbiya ve mursalin. Seyyidina Mevlana Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. Today we are remembering one of the sultans of Ahirat, the great Veli, our Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi. And we are inshallah reading from the beginning of his khutbah, saying, Alhamdulillah, who is wholly above comparison, totally separate from any partner, exalted above death and decay, the Ancient of Days, who exists eternally, the transformer of hearts, the motivating force behind fate and events, he who brings about changes in our circumstances, of whom it cannot be asked when or how long, because it is impossible to contain that Ancient One inside the limitations of time. He began the world without any precedent, created Adam and his children from clay, some of them destined for bliss, some for hellfire, some for separation, some for reunion. Among them, some are given to drink of defeat, while others are clothed with the dress of acceptance. Should any tongue object, it is dumbfounded by this saying of the Almighty, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, He shall not be asked of his doing, but they will be questioned. Sadaqallah al-Azim. High is our Allah, above argument and disputation. Where does creation derive the right to question and contend? It was non-existent, then came into being and will disappear once again, going as the mountains go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You see the mountains and suppose them firm, but they will pass away as clouds do. Such is Allah's handiwork, which brings all things to perfection. there is no Allah but Him, the Great, the Exalted. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. He raised up our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ when ignorance appeared and kufr and misguidance were everywhere, and he guided his community through words and deeds, making clear to them which paths were forbidden and which were permissible. He struggled in the way of Allah under all conditions until the sea of negation evaporated like a mirage, and the truth was established straight and tall by his effort. Allah's peace and blessings upon him and his family, the best of families, and upon his companions, upon Abu Bakr the righteous, who freely supported him with his wealth, upon Umar, distinguisher of truth from error, whose obedience to him intensified even in terrifying floods of hardship, upon Osman, possessor of the twin lights, who held fast to recitation of the zikr of the Quran every morning and every night, and upon Ali ibn Abi Talib, the smasher of idols and slayer of champions. So long as the gazelle cubs graze in the meadows and the darkness is lit up and wicks blaze, our sincere and humble du'as for them will not end. Amin. May Allah raise the station of Hazrat Maulana and his beloved Hazrat Shams, and may their shade be upon us. May Allah bless the grand sheikhs of this noble way, the Khajagan, the Naqshbandi sheikhs. May Allah bless the Ottoman sultans, the padishahs of justice and mercy, who fashioned a world shaped in justice, obedience of Allah, love of His Rasul, and hizmat to the awliya. May Allah love those who love them. May Allah curse those who hate them. Ya ayyuhal mu'minun, O believers, guard your heart. Your heart is a precious part of you. Don't let it to become corrupted. Never forget that Allah is saying to us in the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam in the Holy Quran, BismillahirRahmanirRahim. Let me not be in disgrace on the day when everyone is raised up, the day when neither wealth nor sons will benefit anyone except him who brings to Allah a qalbun salim. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. And remember that the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, truly in the body is a piece of flesh which, if it is good, the entire body is good, and if it is corrupt, the entire body is corrupt. Truly, it is the heart. And the Prophet of Allah speaks the truth. This hadith is one of the foundations of the spirituality that our Holy Prophet ﷺ left us with. And this requires examination. Is our heart good or is it corrupt? Is it healthy or is it sick? Today's people, when it comes to the real heart, the batin heart, the real heart, they take it very lightly. They say, oh brother, this is optional. Spirituality, it is optional. We are praying, we are fasting, we are giving zakat, we are making hajj. It is enough. Cleaning the heart is just for very good Muslims, special people. We just want to be simple Muslims. This is another game from shaitan and the ego to make people think that purifying the heart is something for just some people. Cleaning that heart is for everyone. When a man feels a pain in his physical heart, he doesn't wait. He runs to the doctor. People exercise, they eat well, they take medicine to always make sure that the physical heart is pumping properly, because they know if this physical heart just gets just a little bit sick, then I'm finished. If that's your physical heart, what about our real heart? Our qalb? Our Grand Sheikh, Sultan al-Awliya, Shaykh Maulana Muhammad Nazim Adil Haqqani Qaddas Zasir, is explaining what the stakes are for our qalb, saying, Imam al-Ghazali says, 40 different questions before the body arrives and is buried in the grave. Questions which are only between the Lord and the dead person. These questions will be asked to everyone. He says that the first question that Allah Almighty asks that person is, O my servant, You always decorated yourself among people. You were very careful to look after yourself, how you dressed, fixing your heart, having so many things. You were careful to look handsome, beautiful, and elegant among people. Very careful, because people looking at you. But did you do anything to your heart for me? You knew that I looked only at your heart, not at your outward appearance. What color your eyes were or your skin color, whether you were tall or short, black or white. No, I always looked at your heart. Did you ever think to yourself, my Lord is looking at my heart. I must keep it pure and decorate it with excellent qualities. Did you ever think of that? Because I was looking, saying, my Lord is looking at my heart. I must keep it excellent for Him. That is the first question. It contains everything in itself. Is it enough for believers to be doing their best, to illuminate their hearts, purify them, enough for them here and the hereafter as well? On the day of judgment, Allah Almighty is not going to ask you what you brought of money or of sons or of property or of ranks. No. Where is your heart? With which heart have you come to me? The purified heart, the golden heart, where is it? Give it to me. That was what I was asking from you during your life. That is the main thing which is asked of everyone. Keep your heart pure and excellent and bring it to me. And Sultan al-Awliya speaks the truth. So it's not a game. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to question us in questions that are only between us and Him about whether we did anything to make our hearts special for Him. We should be honest with ourselves. Are we making even one part of our heart for Allah? Or has it been taken over by masiwa, by everything other than Him? By our love of our own selves, by our love of our problems, by our love of this dunya. What is occupying our heart right now? Has it been taken over by our desires of what Allah is, that are rooted in our ego rather than who Allah really is? Have we left any part of our heart for Rasulullah alayhi wasallam, the Tabib al-Qulub? Or have we left him out from what is his rightful home? Do we have any part of our heart for our guide, our Shaykh? Or have we let a false king come and take over the kingdom of our heart? These questions don't require deep thinking. If we are honest with ourselves, sincere for just a moment, the answer is going to come to us right away. What is occupying our hearts? So how do we make our hearts to be for Allah? We are fortunate enough that we have reached to a tabib who has learned from Tabib al-Qulub. We have our Shaykh. And he is giving us a medicine and advice saying, people say, I'm not feeling comfortable. My spirit is very tight. Especially when they come around him or the Dergah or around us. True. Because the heart now is burdened. You're putting so much burden on the heart. Shaitans aren't supposed to be there. The heart is the throne of Allah. So if you're thinking all evil kinds of thinkings coming through, all wrong thinkings passing through your head, now you're giving invitation to Shaitan to come in. Shaitan is not slicking anymore. You're giving invitation, saying, please come inside. And how are you going to say now, well, Allah is in my heart too? Allah is not there. Allah is saying to us, clean your house first. Then I come there. Your heart has to be clean. You have to clean your heart, then I will come. You give invitation, and then I will come. I will go inside there. So how are we going to keep that? Very easily. If we remember that yesterday we were inside our mother's womb, and if we know that today we are above this ground, and if we keep it alive in our heart, that tomorrow we may be down there, then we have enough worry. Then we have enough worry to say, at least, let me fill up my grave with good things. then you will say, let me have a better relationship with this person. Let me have a better relationship with this one. I don't know who he is. Maybe he'll pray for me when I die. And if you didn't send anything there, then maybe he'll have some people to pray for you. And it'll be just like putting water to the plant. So people will be sending to your grave then. So it's up to us. It's up to us, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't torture. He doesn't punish His servants. He doesn't punish His creatures. The creatures go around punishing themselves. First being disobedient to Allah, and then disobedient to His Holy Prophet ﷺ, disobedient to the holy ones. Then who are you obedient to? Just to say one person here and one person there, no, that's a lie. It's cheating. You have to have someone to tell you, do this and don't do that. Turn here and don't turn there. You cannot just say, I'm connected to the Sultan directly. Who are you? Carrying your ego on top of your head and you're entering into the palace? Did you ever see a man coming with his horse and entering into the palace where the king is sitting and is entering into the room with his horse, sitting on the horse? Maybe it's a possibility. And maybe that king is so good that he will forgive that one. Otherwise, the neck must go. Of course, it's not a possibility, because the guards are not going to let that one to come in. But maybe one possibility. So when the man is carrying that kind of an ego, do you think you're reaching to Allah and you're not accepting anything else? You think worldly you have reached because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you some high intelligence that you are using? It's not high intelligence that you use, but the awliya are looking at you. The awliya Allah are praying for you, and you reach somewhere. Do you think it's you? That's another biggest mistake that the Muslims are doing today. They are not saying, this credit is not for me. If good words come out from me, it's definitely not for me. It's from Shaykh Maulana. It's not me. The credit has to go to him. I'm just a tool. And Sahib al-Saif speak the truth. His advice is not small. We are not just saying this as a cliche. It is real. If a man took just these words and applied them to his life, he would live in the world clean, enter the grave clean, and rise up on Judgment Day clean. Why? Because Shaykh Effendi is breaking down what is the heart. What makes the heart sick? What makes the heart healthy? And what is the test to use to see if your heart is good? Shaykh Effendi is saying that our hearts have become burdened and heavy because we open the door to our heart to shaitan. Understand that shaitan does not belong in our hearts. That is not his place. So when he enters, he is like a disease, making everything sick, and that sickness comes out in us, and we have symptoms like depression and sadness and helplessness and hopelessness. It is because we gave shaitan an open invitation to enter our heart and infect it. And why is that? Because we forgot where we came from. As Shaykh Effendi is saying, we forgot where we are going. We came from nothing. We came from our mother's womb, and we're going to the earth when we die. Man's heart becomes dirty when he forgets this and thinks he became something. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us in the Holy Quran, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So let man look at what he was created from. He was created from a fluid, ejected, emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. Truly Allah is able to return him back to life. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. For the heart to be clean, for the heart to be pure, we need to be worried and concerned about our death and what comes after our death. And when a man starts considering that with sincerity, he is going to understand that neither wealth nor sons are going to benefit him. He will understand not his problems, not his worries. Whatever that is occupying his heart right now is not going to save him. He's going to understand himself, his own dirtiness, his own weakness, his own foolishness, his own ghaflat. And he's going to understand that even his prayers, his fasting, his deeds, they are shaded with the diseases he has in his heart. So then what does man do? What is Shaykh Effendi saying? The man goes around good people. He goes to people with clean hearts. He goes to people who are still obedient to Allah, obedient to the Holy Prophet. The man goes to awliya Allah, and in that majlis, he starts to learn again what he forgot, what his spirit knows, and what his heart is burning for, to become an obedient servant to Allah and His Rasul and their friends. Don't go to the majlis trying to prove that you know something. Don't go to that majlis with a full cup. Don't go to that majlis with disobedience and arrogance. You will gain nothing, only the fire. That is a path to purifying the heart again, to sit with those ones who are with Allah. But those friends, they don't accept anyone who carry their ego on their backs. If a person wants to sit in that majlis, we have to first admit that we have an ego. Then we have to say that we want to take that ego off our back. We want to ride on that ego. Then we need to submit to the training of the Shaykh. What is Hazrati Maulana saying? Shaykh Effendi is teaching us, saying, Maulana is saying, yes, this door is opening to you. If you broke your tawbah, not one time, 1,000 times, come again. But when you come in, leave your arrogance outside again and enter inside. Don't enter inside here with your arrogance, with your shaitan. You broke your promise again. Come again, because you have no other door. Only door is Islam. Only door is Quran. Only door is the teaching of Muhammad alayhi wasalam. That's why he said, I am the slave of Quran Karim, and I am the slave of the footprint of Muhammad alayhi wasalam. So the ego cannot enter to the majlis of the awliya Allah. You cannot keep the door of your heart open to shaitan and closing it to the awliya Allah and claim to be following the awliya. You need to at least fight every day to say to that darkness, this heart isn't for you. This place isn't for you. I don't want you here. This place, my heart, I'm cleaning it up now for my Shaykh, for my Prophet, and for my Allah. Get out from here. This isn't for you. Maybe we lose 1,000 times. But the door is going to be open for us if we are returning again with sincerity. And inshallah, with their help, one day we will win. And Shaykh Effendi is teaching again for that time, saying, even if things start working, don't think it's from yourself. Remember, it's from your Shaykh. Look at how beautiful Shaykh Effendi's words are. He is saying that time, know that whatever you are doing, it is because of the prayers of your Shaykh. And then Shaykh Effendi says, I am just a tool. What is the use of a tool? To do work. What work do you do? If you are the tool of the awliya, you do hizmat. So the highest point in this entire journey of the heart, it is to be able to say, I am just the tool of my Shaykh. That person who becomes the tool of his Shaykh, inshallah Rahman, he will have a qalbin salim that will benefit him on the day of judgment and nothing else. Listen to Hazrat Maulana when he says, Bayazid Bistami Kadazasir said, all these years, people thought they were listening to me, but I have not said a single thing. The speaker speaks. I am only an echo. The wall says to the nail, why are you splitting me? It's not me, says the nail. Look behind me. Don't beg the spear tip for mercy as the one who holds it. He makes me a cup. I hold liquid. He makes me into a dagger. I cut. A fountain. Come to me for water. He lights a fire. I give off heat. He makes me rain. I come up in corn stalks. He makes me an arrow. I pierce the body. A snake, if he makes me, into a snake, my saliva becomes venom. He makes me a friend. I do hizmat. I'm a pen between those fingers. So I don't tremble, wondering what to do. The Shaykh is doing the work of the Prophet. And the Prophet ﷺ, he is entirely for the service and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be in that work. And as Hazrat Mawlana is saying, don't tremble. In their hizmat, you may become a light for so many, even if you cannot see that light yourself. As Hazrat Mawlana is saying in the Masnavi Sharif, struggle so that your inner light comes out, so that your suluk, your traveling, and your hizmat will be made easy for you. Don't you see that you take children to school by force because they are blind to the benefits of learning? But when a child becomes aware of the benefits, he runs to school. His soul opens with joy at going. A child goes to school reluctantly with no joy because he has seen no result of his work. But when he puts a single coin earned from his work into his wallet, he can go all night without sleep like a thief. Struggle that the wages for your obedience may come. Then you will envy the obedient ones. If you only come and obey against your will, that's just for a blind follower. Coming willingly is for the person who is made out of sincerity. The first person loves Allah for mixed up reasons. The other one who comes willingly has a pure, non-selfish love. May we learn obedience, inshallah. May we run after obedience. May we run to return to obedience, because obedience is our original way. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us sincere to our guide so that we may have pure hearts. May we come willingly and not with force. May we come with ashk and not unwillingly. May the door always be open for us, even if we fail, even if it is thousands of times. May our destiny end with them accepting us and being happy with us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us strength to fight our egos. May Allah give us strength to kick shaitan out from our hearts. May our heart become the throne of His beloved ones. May we make our heart to become the dergah of our Shaykh. Ameen. Now we are ending with the dua of Shaykh Maulana saying, Shukr to Allah for letting us reach this day. Our Mawla can make us reach even higher than this. He removes all sadness from our hearts. He gives relief. May those saying Allah enter the rose garden of paradise. May those saying Allah enter today. May those saying Allah today enter. Don't fear. Say Allah and don't fear. What shall we do? Slowly, slowly. Slowly. It's not easy. It's not easy to be filled with the divine love. It's not easy to walk around the Kaaba with that love. It's not easy to say Allah with that love. May our hearts be filled with divine love. Allahu, Allahu, there is no Lord other than Him. Allahu, who, our Lord. BismillahirRahmanirRahim. What shall we do? They made us tell a few words on these holy days. May our hearts open and be glad. May they be filled with relief. May our day be good. May our deeds be good. May our way be honored. Amen. Amen. Amen. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah lazim alazi. La ilaha illallah. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك والحمد لله شيء كثير لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك والحمد لله شيء كثير لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني ظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك سبحان قدوس ربنا سبحان قدوس إن دين الله الإسلام قام الصلاة
وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما سلمت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد، وارحم سيدنا محمدا وآل سيدنا محمد، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد، كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذريته وأهل بيته، كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد، كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم داحي المدحوات وبارئ المسموكات وجبار القلوب على فطرتها شقيها وسعيدها، اجعل شرائف صلواتك ونوامي بركاتك ورأفة تحننك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق والمعلن الحق بالحق والدامغ لجيشات الأباطيل، كما حمل فاضطلع بأمرك بطاعتك مستنفذا في مرضاتك واعيا لوحيك حافظا لعهدك ماضيا على نفاذ أمرك حتى أورى قبسا لقابس آلاء الله تصل بأهله أسبابه به هديت القلوب بعد خوضات الفتن والإثم وأبهج موضحات الأعلام ونائرات الأحكام ومنيرات الإسلام، فهو أمينك المأمون وخازن علمك المخزون وشهيدك يوم الدين وبعيثك نعمة ورسولك بالحق رحمة. اللهم افسح له في عدنك واجزه مضاعفات الخير من فضلك مهنآت له غير مكدرات من فوز ثوابك المحلول وجزيل عطائك المعلول. اللهم أعل على بناء الناس بناءه وأكرم مثواه لديك ونزله وأتمم له نوره واجزه من ابتعاثك له مقبول الشهادة ومرضي المقالة ذا منطق عدل وخطة فصل وبرهان عظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. لبيك اللهم ربي وسعديك صلوات الله البر الرحيم والملائكة المقربين والنبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين، وما سبح لك من شيء يا رب العالمين على سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله خاتم النبيين وسيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين ورسول رب العالمين، الشاهد البشير الداعي إليك بإذنك السراج المنير عليه السلام. اللهم اجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك على سيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك إمام الخير وقائد الخير ورسول الرحمة. اللهم ابعثه مقاما محمودا يغبطه فيه الأولون والآخرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأولاده وأزواجه وذريته وأهل بيته وأصهاره وأنصاره وأشياعه ومحبه وأمته وعلينا معهم أجمعين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد من لم يصل عليه وصل على سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا بالصلاة عليه وصل عليه كما يحب أن يصلى عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا أن نصلي عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما هو أهله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضاه له. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد صل على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد وأعط سيدنا محمدا الدرجة والوسيلة في الجنة. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد اجز سيدنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم ما هو أهله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من الصلاة شيء. وارحم سيدنا محمدا وآل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من الرحمة شيء. وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من البركة شيء. وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من السلام شيء. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين وصل على سيدنا محمد في النبيين وصل على سيدنا محمد في المرسلين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أعط سيدنا محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والشرف والدرجة الكبيرة. اللهم إني آمنت بسيدنا محمد ولم أره فلا تحرمني في الجنان رؤيته وارزقني صحبته وتوفني على ملته واسقني من حوضه مشربا رويا سائغا هنيئا لا نظمأ بعده أبدا إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم أبلغ روح سيدنا محمد مني تحية وسلاما. اللهم وكما آمنت بسيدنا محمد ولم أره فلا تحرمني في الجنان رؤيته. اللهم تقبل شفاعة سيدنا محمد الكبرى وارفع درجته العليا وآته سؤله في الآخرة والأولى كما آتيت سيدنا إبراهيم وسيدنا موسى. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وصفيك وسيدنا موسى كليمك ونجيك وسيدنا عيسى روحك وكلمتك وعلى جميع ملائكتك ورسلك وأنبيائك وخيرتك من خلقك وأصفيائك وخاصتك وأوليائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد عدد خلقه ورضاء نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته وكما هو أهله وكلما ذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون وعلى أهل بيته وعترته الطاهرين وسلم تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته وعلى جميع النبيين والمرسلين والملائكة والمقربين وجميع عباد الله الصالحين عدد ما أمطرت السماء منذ بنيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما أنبتت الأرض منذ دحوتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد النجوم في السماء فإنك أحصيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما تنفست الأرواح منذ خلقتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما خلقت وما تخلق وما أحاط به علمك وأضعاف ذلك. اللهم صل عليهم عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومبلغ علمك وآياتك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة تفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة دائمة مستمرة الدوام على مر الليالي والأيام متصلة الدوام لا انقضاء لها ولا انصرام على مر الليالي والأيام عدد كل وابل وطل. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد نبيك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وعلى جميع أنبيائك وأصفيائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومنتهى علمك وزنة جميع مخلوقاتك صلاة مكررة أبدا عدد ما أحصى علمك وملء ما أحصى علمك وأضعاف ما أحصى علمك صلاة تزيد وتفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم اجعلني ممن لزم ملة نبيك سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعظم حرمته وأعز كلمته وحفظ عهده وذمته ونصر حزبه ودعوته وكثر تابعيه وفرقته ووافى زمرته ولم
For example, and your agenda is maybe this heart will open to Islam. Maybe this one the heart will open to the sunnah, to our way, to this. That's okay. You understand? But you are not going to, how you give without an agenda, you are going to give but not expect anything in return. Don't say, I give and I want something in return. No. Of course, if you give, Allah is watching. There is a situation that happens. But you give also not because you want to show off. You give also not because you want praise or something, but because you have to do it. Someone is in need and you have the power to help that one. It is a sense of honor, then you have to give. Understand? You want to say something? Okay. So, we should not make a fuss about giving. We should not do it the ways of the unbelievers or the Western way. What the right hand gives, the left hand must not know. You give, it's okay. You're not expecting anything in return. You say, Allah is watching. This is something I have to do. Whether it's coming back like this or like this, it doesn't matter. You have to give it. You must make it into your nature. It is in all our natures. Because Allah has created us in ahsani taqweem. But when we look to the elderly ones, those who have passed before us, they may not have so much schooling or intelligence or degrees or diplomas, but they have faith. And that faith, it is pumping from their heart and is flowing in their veins, and their hands are doing it, their feet are doing it, their eyes are doing it, their ears are doing it. Everything is doing it. They don't have to enter into so much school, to madrasa even, or this, but it has to do with honor. And because they are taught from the previous generation, taught from the previous generation, taught from the previous generation, and they're holding on tightly to that. They're not holding on tightly to anything else. They're not holding on tightly to what is modern or new or what other people are saying. That's why I'm saying again and again, living in this part of the world, living in the West, we must be aware how it is affecting us. Don't say, no, it's okay. I dress like this, I live top of the mountain, I make zikr every day. It's not going to affect. It affects. It affects us. And if you are not going to understand how it affects us hiddenly, then it's very dangerous, because all these things, it affects us hiddenly. And how are you going to know? Watch yourself. Am I behaving like this, the way that everyone else in this society is behaving? Like what, for instance? Simple things. What we're going through in our daily lives here. We have kids. They're running around. They get into trouble. Before, everyone is very American in that they only believe in their child. They don't believe in anyone else. Yes, they teach them. They take care of them. But when it comes, if there is a fight somewhere, my child is right. Everyone else is wrong. If the child says this one, elderly one, is doing something, we believe him right away, male and female. I had to break that. And I said, don't be an idiot. Kids, they lie all the time. They do. When they know they're going to get into trouble, they lie. They change their stories, and they're very convincing. You have to know how they do it, and you have to know that everyone is on the same team. Don't just investigate. Don't just fight. Don't just react. Don't just respond. Investigate. You have to know. And even if something is being done, what are you going to do? You're going to ask for revenge? You're going to ask for justice? These are kids, and they're playing. They will hurt each other. Did you ask for revenge when someone was nice to your kid? When someone is being good and they're happy, did you ask for revenge? Do you say, okay, they're nice, now I must also be nice to them? No, you let it go. You're like, oh, it's okay. But when something is unpleasant to us and we don't have the whole story, immediately our first thing is we have to defend our kids. They are right, everyone else is wrong. We cannot. This is traces of Jahiliyyah also. I'm saying this because you bring up the topic you said in the old days. They give. In the old days, the days of our fathers and our grandfathers, what do you think is going to happen? The little one goes to the father and says, oh, this one hit me, my teacher did this. You think they're going to care? They say, you must have done something wrong, that's why this happened. But we became very American, very loving, mashallah, protective of our children. I'm not saying you let anyone abuse them. This is not about that. But I'm saying look at the whole thing. If you have to, take a side, look at the whole thing. Investigate. But if you do that 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, then you know that it's so much unreliable things that it's not even worth it. Because these kids, yes, today they cry. They say, this one hit me, this one. Next minute, not even the next day, what do? They're friends again. And what happened to you? You're holding that grudge. Adults need to learn from that. Adults are keeping that grudge. No, this one, I remember. I remember. And they don't let go. So now that has an agenda. You understand? Because being generous, helping other people is not just that. It's having a generosity of thought also. To say, okay, that happened, that's okay, it's a small thing. That's okay. Then you watch. Okay, 2nd time, 3rd time happens, then you say, okay, then you're going to talk. You're adults, so you're going to say, this situation is happening, I need to know. You talk. But people, when it becomes so confrontational, because all they know is fighting, this is the point. If all you know is fighting, the one is, let's say one person, he's today we're saying MMA. Before you say he's a wrestler, let's say. If all his life is wrestling, then that time, if all his life is fighting, because that's what he does, then he's going to look at everyone also as an opponent, right? Every interaction is also going to be kind of like wrestling. He's going to fight too. Yes or no? Does that make sense? And what our forefathers are saying, they know this. That's why they say don't get stuck in one thing. You do that, you have to come for zikr. You have to soften your heart. You have to attend Mawlid. You have to do this. So you balance both. You get everything in there. The Ottomans are saying even if you're a butcher, They don't let you to continue being a butcher for, let's say, 40 days. After 40 days, you're butchering. They say, no, you have to take leave. You have to go be a gardener. Do something. Why is that? Because if you're exposed to just blood and meat and chopping, it becomes part of you. And then it's a very violent thing. Then they say, now stop that before your heart is diseased and it overtakes. Now you have to go and learn what it means to help something to grow, to give it time. Learn what it means to step on the earth, not just blood and other things and meat. So now the spirit will be a bit more comfortable. The spirit can fit into anything. But if it is, you are only confining it in one way, then it becomes very choked and it's not good for you. So now you have to balance it in this, and this, and this. You live in a jamaat, it will balance you. One person is like this, the other person is complete opposite. This one is like this, is like this. So it's stretching you, it balances you. If you just use your own way, your own small group of friends, which today people don't even have friends. Huh? You don't. Friends is someone I have a good time with. If I have a bad time, nobody can help. That's why I have to pay money to a psychiatrist to listen to my problems. That one is doing it for money too. Yeah, they have friends. America, Friends, very popular Friends. You know that show, Friends? Yeah. Why is that? Because they have no friends. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. And then what happened? 20 years they have reunion, then everybody is fighting again. So be a real friend. You go through ups and downs like a family, but you don't let go. And you don't let that to stay in your heart. So that time, you're going to do things with more ikhlas. Because you say, no, there has to be something else, there has to be something else, there has to be something else. If there's a real problem, no reason for confrontation too. You pull it aside. You say, okay, now there's a line there. We give some distance to each other. Why you have to fight? Today people, they don't know how to handle disagreement. They don't know how to handle confrontation. Something disagree, they have to scream and shout. Something they see they don't agree with, they have to scream and shout. They have to go on social media to let the whole world to know. What happened to you? You lost your honor? You disagree. Disagree. Draw the line. You think that one is going to listen to you, say something if you have permission. You think that one is not going to listen to you, you're not responsible. You're responsible first your own self. You finished with yourself? No, you didn't. But they take it on themselves now to go correcting people. If it's not for you, you should not. Especially when you enter into tariqat now. You don't interfere. In the Dergah, you don't interfere. Someone is doing something wrong, take that as a lesson, but you don't tell them what to do. There is only one teacher. There's one doctor. The nurses see something, they report to the doctor too. And those nurses, they are in obedience to the doctor. They're not disobedient ones. But people are so used to correcting and jumping and saying things to each other, then now, same school, there is a teacher, there's a professor, and everyone else is teaching. If everyone is teaching, who's going to learn? So you don't know how to handle this. Don't. You see, even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He lets so many things happen without any interference. There is a time. So something may happen in a group. Things always happen in a group or in a jamaat or in a tariqat. Something always happens. Take that first as a lesson. First you say this one is doing something wrong. No, my eyes are wrong to see that first. Then you say he's doing something wrong again. I don't know. It's not my business. I must be busy with myself. You see something wrong and that one is touching the rights of others. Now you say this doesn't make sense. Now let me ask someone. Even then, you see, he's touching the rights of others, but you don't know that one. How long you know him? You don't know the one who's touching. How long you know him? Do you know what happened before? Do you know what's going to happen after? Do you know all of that? You don't. Then don't interfere. Unless the Shaykh says, okay, watch and then come to me. That's something else. That is why there is permission then. Watch. Now you have to watch. Now that time you cannot say, oh, it doesn't concern me. Now there's a responsibility there. Then how you see something wrong, but you're not saying that person is bad. And you're not saying that I am better than that person. Because everyone who's trying to teach, of course, their meaning is I'm better than that person. And this is a part of arrogance and stubbornness. We have to know this. Don't interfere. Who is the one who is the leader here? It's his responsibility, it's not your responsibility. Unless he says, now watch, and even if he says watch, you don't speak. You go to him. This is basic. But people are losing this. Because collecting hearts is a very delicate process. Fixing the hearts is very delicate. The surgeon is the one who is doing it. Even if he has 20 assistants, he's the one who is doing it. Everyone must listen to him. It's very delicate. Tariqat is very delicate. You don't just interfere and you say, well, what about this? Cut this. Patch this up. Open this. Because I see it's wrong. You're not seeing with your sheikh's eyes. If he's not saying anything, don't interfere. If he's asking you, say, this is what I see. I don't know. Don't assume this is wrong and I'm right. We have to learn step by step these things. Then that time we can balance things and we can fix ourselves and we can always take lesson. Otherwise, we're not going to take lesson. 20 years in tariqat, you're not going to take 2 steps because you always think I'm better than others. Everyone is making mistake. I'm the worst one. That's lip service. But if anyone touches you, you're the first one to defend yourself. And we're here in this way, in this Jamaat, in Shaykh and this Jamaat, for our ego to get knocked wall to wall. We're not here for the Shaykh to praise you. You do something wrong, the Shaykh is going to say. As a khutbah is saying, a Shaykh Effendi, Shaykh Maulana is saying, turn right, turn left. And if you are saying, I took bayat because I fell in love with you, but don't you dare tell me what is right and what is left, then you're not ready. Then even your love is fake. May Allah make us to become more real and to have more ilm in this, more understanding, inshallah, to fix ourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Amin. Yes.
BismillahirRahmanirRahim. In the Waz today, they were reading Shaykh Effendi Sobat saying that people in the West are very depressed, although they have everything.
Yes.
And Shaykh Effendi is saying that people in the East, they should be depressed, but they're happy,
Yes.
even though they don't have anything. What does excess do to people that instead of becoming happy, they become depressed? And how to defend against that?
How does too much dunya makes a heart to become dead? This is your question. As Mawlana is saying, only the empty drum can make a noise. A drum, it has to be empty. You know, you're a drummer. Imagine they're putting things inside. You hit and nothing comes out. When the belly is empty, he's saying, meaning when you're fasting, when you are not taking things and putting it inside, when you are, I don't want to use the word deprive, but you are making yourself to become more empty. When you become more empty, then that time, as Bayazir Bistami is saying, I'm only an echo. Yes, he's saying, all these years people are saying, I'm saying something, I'm not saying anything, I'm only an echo. How you make an echo, you have to be empty. So why you get depressed? Because you're not looking for Allah. Because you're not emptying your heart from things and concerns. Because this dunya is a liar. Everything that you look for, it is not going to satisfy you. It will not satisfy you. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 day, 2 days. It will not satisfy you because everyone has been created with that heart, and that heart will only find satisfaction in the remembrance of Allah. Remembrance of Allah is not just pulling a tasbih. It comes with so many other conditions also, remembering Allah. Don't think it's only saying Allah, Allah, Allah, Allah, Allah. No. There are people who are doing that and they get more depressed. It comes with conditions, remembering Allah. Remembering Allah means remember the Prophet. Remembering the Prophet means keeping his laws and his ways. Remembering the Prophet means you have to remember your Shaykh, the awliya Allah. And you have to be with them. You have to serve and you have to obey them. It comes with conditions. Why you get depressed when you have so many things? When you let it to enter, where? Into your heart. When your heart gets filled up with that. It is about the heart, you see. You let it to enter with too much nonsense, it's not empty, you cannot. You'll be depressed because it's not satisfying you. But you're emptying it and you're looking for the pleasure of Allah, that to satisfy you, the pleasure of Allah, not your own pleasure of your dunya or your ego and everything. Pleasure, you understand? Not to sink into it. To take when it's there, is not there, you don't get obsessed with it. And when you have, you share. Good things you share. Bad things, you keep yourself. You try to work it out. As Hazrat Ali Karamallahu Wajah, he says 3 things you should keep. Silent, secret. Yeah? I mentioned 2 things. He's saying your charity, keep it secret. And your problems, your sicknesses, keep it secret. Keep it secret means that you sort it out. It's between you and Allah. You're asking. But you don't tell people. People love to complain. That now becomes something that fills your heart. Whatever that is in your heart, it will come out. Because the tongue is behind the heart. So watch yourself. What am I talking so much? Today I spent 10,000 words. What am I talking about? I'm thinking so much today. I was so busy. What was I busy about? What was I running around? Okay, I'm busy working in the hospital. Yes, but why? Is it because I love it? I'm obsessed with it? I want it to give me more honor and things? No, because I'm doing that. It's a halal way, and I'm doing it ultimately to help Islam. And this is the proof, to help people. And then you check yourself. Even when you're so busy doing that, in the marketplace, dunya, meaning, there are some, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, they always remember Allah. Yes, even in the marketplace. And in a marketplace, in the dunya, if you remember Allah, you don't let the dunya to enter into your heart, it's even more blessed, it's more taste. Those are the ones who remember Allah standing and sitting and lying down. So what fills up your heart? You fill up your heart other than Allah, you will be in depression. Definitely. No, I don't look for the pleasures of this dunya. People 21st century, they're more cursed. Because yes, they don't really look for the pleasure of the dunya so much. You know what they're busy with? Just their own sense of self-importance. My problems are so important. My concerns are so important. My feeling that I'm not good enough is so important. I am so important. I am obsessed about me and my problems. But when you look and you compare yourself to others, you don't have any problem. You don't. You manufacture everything. See what is in your heart. See what is on your tongue. See what you're busy with. Then you will know. Then ask yourself, I'm doing all this. What did you do for the sake of Allah? Is this for the sake of Allah? Those of them, as Shaykh Hadi says, you're already running in the way. It's Allah's pleasure is in your heart and you are watching every step that you're doing. Then that time, everything you do, it becomes a worship. You're worshipping His worship. You're spending time with your family in the way of Allah and His Prophet, and you knowing He's watching, keeping it good. That's worship. You're spending time with your friends. That's worship. You're jumping up and down. That's worship. Because you're always looking. My Allah, my Prophet, my Shaykh is there. If we look at the lives of the prophets and the saints, they have the worst life. Worst life. If a little bit, a drop of that, what they had to go through, touches any one of us, we're going to kill ourselves 1,000 times. Yet they were not depressed. They were longing for their Lord. Yes, that's not depression. They were running to help others. In that pain, they were not taking anyone's rights. They were not hurting anyone in that pain. They were not calling anyone to look at them, to give them benefit. Now look, today's people. Whose benefit? Them, me. This is my problem. Me. I'm this, I'm feeling this. Not once. They're saying what Allah feels, what Allah is saying when He looks at you, because you have no connection. Muslims, praying, but there is no spirituality, there is no connection, because they're taught from young to old in this society especially, your happiness is the most important thing. Everything that we're doing in this country is in the pursuit of happiness. Your happiness, meaning your ego. If you're concentrating on the happiness of Allah and His Prophet, then you know in your own troubles, in your own unhappiness, if Allah is happy with you because you're going through some struggle, then it has meaning. Then there is taste. You know Allah is happy with you, you're happy. You're suffering, but you're happy. And we're taught here, no. Most important thing is you. Most important thing is you have to be happy. It has to be more than happy. It has to be fun. Everything has to be fun. And what the Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, don't laugh too much because it kills your heart. It deadens the heart. And I'm watching everyone 24 hours just watching the stupid TikTok videos to make them laugh. Then everything becomes funny to you. Then if Allah speaks to you, the Prophet speaks to you, your saint speaks to you, your Shaykh speaks, you turn it into a joke too. Smart mouth. Because that's what you're doing. Everything is funny. Because your heart has already become dead now. It kills your heart. Wake up. Stop that. Yes or no? Then they cannot balance. Everything, they have to turn everything into a joke. Everything is funny. We said, look, you just killed someone. Yeah, it's funny. This is Dajjalic, you understand? This is shaitanic. This is shaitanic. Shaitan will destroy everything and laugh. He was laughing on his way down to the earth when Allah threw him out. He was laughing. Yeah, laugh. Go ahead, laugh. Go ahead, watch more videos. Any free time, not to think about your Allah, but open. This is not funny. Look, this is funny. Yahoo. Once in a while we understand, but we're watching. It becomes an obsession. Any free time you have to check. It becomes an obsession. In the Dergah, it is forbidden now. No need to text anyone. World is not going to crumble because you're not texting someone back for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour, nothing. It's too much. And then what are you teaching to the younger ones? Then everything is funny. You hurt something, it's funny. You kill something, it's funny. You destroy something, it's funny. You break someone's heart, it's funny. Everything is funny. Yeah, that's why depression comes to you. May more depression come to those people. Because you don't feel for others. You forget about feeling for Allah and His Prophet. You only feel for yourself. Yeah, definitely. There's no satisfaction. What do they want? Quick fix. Please just make a dua for me. Please. Just perform a miracle. That's it. Then I'll be okay. You can't? Then you're not a chef. What do you think? Magician? This is what people want. It is majority, especially those young ones. There are people, definitely, they have a medical condition. Put those aside. There are some with a real psychological condition. Put that aside. Then they are going for treatment and everything. Put that aside. I'm talking to most who don't even know what they're doing, why they're doing. They have no connection. And they're always very stubborn and very arrogant. Very, very stubborn. So yeah, more depression coming. And then the end, they say what? I can only be cured by chemicals. Leave those ones who have a real condition. Sometimes it's from generation to generation. We know. Leave those ones. They are good. Just cannot help themselves. And I'm watching these ones, they're not self-centered. When they get depressed or something, it's not calling out for everyone to look at them and everyone to baby them. If anything, they pull themselves out, they want to disappear. So when are we going to grow up? Oh, you don't grow up. You don't change. You will suffer. Everything has to change. You don't change here, you will change in the grave. They will make sure they change you in the grave. If that's not enough, they will change you in the fire. Everyone else has to change. Everyone has to change. We help others, putting others first. We say, I'm not that important. Right now, this one is more important than me. Your problems, my problems are not important. This one's problem is more important than me. Allah will reduce your problem because you are already doing it. Because you are helping yourself, Allah will help you. You see something, no, my problems are bigger. This one, my problems are bigger. This one, my problems are bigger. You have no problems, but the problems will swallow you. Then Shaykh Effendi says, your two buttons, your two collars are not going to meet. You'll never be satisfied. Because you're selfish. Take lesson. The system is making people to stop taking lesson because it's all about consuming. Consumerist society. Your eyes consume, your ears consume. Everything, your senses all consuming. What are we consuming? The best? No, the worst also. At least if you're consuming good things, it's something else worse. Nonsense, junk we're consuming. So you're full. With what? Junk. You're full with Allah? No. You're not full with the sohbats. You're full with your own sohbats in your own head. 24 hours talking to yourself. We say don't. Empty yourself. Everyone is free to do as they like. Everyone is free to do as they like. You see, even Allah is not interfering so much. He has laws, but He's not interfering so much, especially in these last days. Everyone is free to do as they like, but they're not free from the consequences of what they've done. Allah forgive me. Allah make it easier for everyone, inshallah, to wake up. Sohbats must make us to wake up. These words, first, it is for me. Then to anyone else who wants to listen. You don't want to listen? Leave it. I will take it. I will put it on myself. But don't deaden your heart, please. I'm seeing then nothing enters. Nothing enters unless it's a smack. Yeah, nothing enters. It shouldn't be a smack. It should be a look. It should be a feeling already is entering. One word you already know. Today's generation, no. They need a smack. And then it enters. What are you, a donkey? That's why it's so busy. Then in the work of Allah, you're so busy, you don't know what to do. But in the work of your ego, you know exactly what to do, when to do. You have special antennas. Oh, this one is good, this one is funny, this one is... you know everything. It's very sophisticated. But no, it's something simple in the way of Allah. You make stupid mistakes because your heart is not there. Why is your heart not there? Because it's busy with this. Cut yourself off from that. Seriously. This is what fasting means also. You recondition everything. You rewire everything, yes? Your whole system gets rewired when you fast, no? Especially when you fast for a long time. 1 day different, 3 days different, 30 days is different, 40 days we're supposed to fast, no? It's different. The prophets, they were fasting for 40 days. Then everything physically gets rewired. And we know we're supposed to fast, not only with the food and the drink, but from all the nonsense that affects us. And it's not only fasting during the month of Ramadan, there's sunnah fasting too. You know you're sick, why aren't you fasting? You say, this is too much. Now I have to stop doing this. There's too much I'm consuming. I have to fast from this too. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. I'm doing this too much. I'm always laying on my ass, 24 hours. I have so many excuses I'm making. Then sit up. Say, I'm not going to do that for 3 days. I'm going to catch myself. Now you are putting some control. Now you're watching. Now you're putting some reins on it. You're not just letting everything to be as you like, which is not as you like. It says your ego likes, and the ego drags you to where shaitan is, which is hell. Young one, same. Old one, same. Then when are we going to wake up? Then look. Especially those who are around me, I don't give you any excuse. Don't think you have any privilege. You don't have privilege. You have more discipline. Let other people to see, they can do this and do that. They don't know half. Come close to me. Because I'll be questioned. This one is next to you and he doesn't know this. He's still doing this. I will cut you up before they question me like that. Then at least I'm saying this one can fix this one he cannot fix, but this is running like this, is doing this hizmat, which so many other people they're not doing. Okay, something. People are not looking with proper eyes. Use intelligence. Faith is intelligence. Tariqat is to use that intelligence. You're not intelligent. One stupid mistake that you do, because you give the control to shaitan and your ego, and you crash, you spend years regretting, years. Don't be stupid. When all you had to do is just have a little bit of control, think a little bit more. We are not animals. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. May Allah forgive me and bless all of you, inshallah. May Allah raise the station of our Shaykh and our Grand Shaykh high. May we become better. May we become less stubborn. May Allah increase our knowledge about our own selves to become more sincere. May Allah get rid of our stubbornness and our arrogance. May Allah make us to have more love to this way in our guide, inshallah, and to each other. May Allah make us to remember those who have less than us. Make us to remember death. Make us to remember the hellfire. May Allah not make us to be in ghaflat. For the sake of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, for the sake of Sultan al-Awliya and Sahib al-Sayf al-Fatiha. Amen. This much is enough. Assalamu alaikum.
يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد صل على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد وأعط سيدنا محمدا الدرجة والوسيلة في الجنة. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد اجز سيدنا محمدا صلى الله